What's happening, Andy? Here I am joined by Dino Pagliarello of Sharp. How are you, Dino? What's happening?
I'm doing great, Andy. Everything's great on this side. Here you got a lot going on as well, so glad to catch up.
We do have a lot get going on. We just finished our What's Happening Charity Golf Classic, and you guys were a major sponsor. Awesome couple days. Raised a ton of money for Blood Cancer United. Had some famous people there. Mariano Rivera was there. Jim Leyritz. Just a special couple days. 160 dealer, not dealers, but 160 golfers there. 51 dealers. And just very blessed to have you guys on board and be such a special sponsor of it. We were talking offline before. You had some Mariano information, some stuff that you guys are doing with him.
Yeah, we have been, this is the third year in a row now that we have been training students from the foundation from various vocational schools in New Jersey and getting them certified on our products as a technician. As a matter of fact, we've got 6 students in the office this month that are going to be graduating at the end of the month. So we're excited about that.
So wait, so these kids are coming out and like hardware technicians, old school.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome
Yeah.
because that's an area that it's an aging area. Everybody in there is 50, 60 years old, and you don't see a lot of kids coming out. How does that work? How did you guys find them, get them involved in something? How'd you get their attention?
Well, I think what the foundation's doing is really great because they're trying to get these kids, or I shouldn't call them kids, they're 19 and 20 years
Little
old,
kids.
where they're actually, looking for a career. And, you know, what we've decided to do is work closely with the foundation to, get a curriculum going where in a matter of 30 days they can be up to speed on how to be a technician on one of our MFPs. It could even go further than that, where they could even be trained on further and more complicated, complex devices. But the idea is to get them employed quickly by local dealers and get them started on a career in our industry, which, as you and I both know, has helped us tremendously in our careers. And I think that we can get other young and very capable students that want to get into the business in kind of a jump start so
And
they can
that's
get started right away.
such a good area. I mean, I don't, almost every dealer I know, it just seems like if you talk to them, it's we need technicians and finding someone who wants to do that at an age where, you can get them early and hopefully they stay with you for 10, 15, 20 years or for a full career. I mean, those techs usually, once they lock in, they're there for life, but it's so hard to find them at that age, right? I mean, that's been such a challenge for our industry. That's, I think, probably the number one problem is finding and keeping people, technicians, sales, just everything, but especially techs. It's really tough. So these kids are coming out. They're not going to necessarily work for Sharp, but are you helping them find jobs with dealers?
Yeah. So we're training them on Sharp technology. So it's going to be a Sharp dealer that would hire them or someone that's involved with Sharp MFPs. So far, we've actually had a really good track record for the students that have graduated over the past year, now 2 years. They're all still gainfully employed and loving their careers. So I think we're doing something right. So we're going to
I
continue
love
to
it.
do it as long as we can.
I love it. And Mariano, man, when we met him at the tournament, what a nice, just a genuinely nice person. You just never know when you meet. I've met a lot of athletes in my time. Gosh, he was just so nice, just so outgoing, and taking pictures with people. And man, he can hit the ball too, by the way. Holy smokes! I don't ever remember him swinging a bat when I'm a big Yankees fan. I've got a signed hat from him right over there actually. He was very nice to sign that at the tournament. But wow, he could hit. Him and Leyritz, they were awesome. They both of them were just smoking the ball. They were practically driving into us. We were right in front of them. But I mean it's what a great foundation, and it's awesome that you guys found a way to work with them and really fill a huge need for our industry. And I would like to follow up with this and see, down the road, hopefully this grows into something even more than that. Six kids coming out at one time, that's great, but I could imagine more, I could imagine more if it's working.
Yeah, we're going to continue to do it. They graduate the end of this month, so we're looking for opportunities for them. So if anybody watching is looking for somebody that needs to do tech or service on A sharp MFP, we've got the person for you.
Oh, we'll have people call Dino if they've got a need for a sharp technician. I bet your phone's going to ring from that. Um, let's move on. Let's get into, the reason we actually scheduled this interview. We've got a big show coming up. Printing United is right around the corner, and this is your wheelhouse. This is your lane, so to speak. And so I imagine you guys have been very busy getting ready for it. Let's hear what you've been doing.
Yeah, so we've been preparing for this show for quite some time. We've got some really great things planned for it. We're going to be showcasing some new products that continue to build out our lineup of products on the production print side of the business. We're really pushing to really complete our lineup of products in from a sharp production print perspective. So that's really exciting. We're going to have some new technologies at the booth that we're going to be showcasing and some really fun things to do. One of the things that we realized from last year is, you got to do something fun. This business sometimes, it gets to be a grind and you got to have fun with it. So that's what one of the things we want to try to do is make it fun.
So big booth, lots of hardware, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll be showcasing our flagship color devices, of course, our BP 1200S, which is our six color press, which we've had some tremendous successes with over the past few years already. We'll also have our monochrome devices on the high speed side, as well as two new color devices that we're going to be showcasing at the booth for the first time.
Oh, that's exciting. That it's what I've really enjoyed was watching how you guys just, kind of came out with a machine and a couple finishing options and just all of a sudden, every few months more came and you really filled out, just the what you can attach to the accessories that you put on, both sides of that device. And the finishing is what really makes it, and that's a big differentiator. And talk about that process and maybe mention, let's talk about some of the partners that you've brought in over the last couple of years in that area, because that's a huge part of this.
Yeah, so the partner piece of this is critical, right? You don't just walk into, for example, a commercial print environment and say, here's my machine, see you later. It's about the total ecosystem and what you can offer that particular customer. So we're doing a lot with companies like Color Logic, Tactiful, Duplo, Formax, and really Plotmatic, GBC, really taking the game to the next level and making sure that we have that total solution for the customer. And it's not even about how many vendors you can bring in as far as a partnership is concerned, but even more so the people within your organization and the build out of the support structure in order to ensure that not only the dealer but the dealer's customer is supported when it comes to, okay, what am I supposed to do here and how do I outfit my my particular environment? So it all comes together.
And then on the other side of that, the training's got to be a big part of this as well. How have you filled in and, helped your dealers get up to speed with what these accessories can do and then just, what opportunities they unlock for them?
Yeah, so that's been a really important part for us to be able to train our current dealer community about the advantages of production and the opportunity for them to kind of net new business, right? The majority of our dealers that we've worked with, especially Sharp only, are have been in the entry level production print space. This takes them to the next level on that higher end, mid range, and high end production color space. So we've been doing a lot of educating as far as what are the value adds there, how to have those conversations with the customer, and ultimately how to make money and what makes sense for them as far as investment. So there's been a lot that went into it and a lot of conversations with our dealers, but I think we've come a really long way over the last couple of years and making a lot of progress.
Oh, I would agree. And just I mean, I remember when you first launched the device and it just it didn't have nearly the packaging around it, let's say, that it's got now. It's just, I mean, the room is probably more full with the accessories at this point than it is with the device, which is saying something because that thing is about a city block long.
Yeah, one of the things that we're really proud of is that we've been recognized by IDC as a major player in the production print space. Pretty good milestone for us, being that we built out not only our partnerships, our dealer community, and as well as even our direct channel, trying to get some of those machines out there and really making a play for the market. So moving right along and making some really good progress there.
Is the training when you do you bring them in? Do you go on site with them? How does that work?
Mhm. It's a combination of both, depending on the dealer and how they want to interface with us. A lot of times when it's about new technology and investment, we'll go to them. If it's about a customer and getting that customer up to speed, we'll do it during installation and do a training for the customer. So it depends on the training and what that customer and or the dealer is looking for.
And where are these machines going? Are they strictly commercial printers? Are they
Mm.
universal? Like, who's buying this stuff?
We are one of our biggest verticals is education, right? So we're seeing a lot of university opportunities. We also are seeing a lot of commercial print environments. Customers that may not have looked at Sharp as a commercial print provider in the past is now looking at us a little bit differently. So we are able to get into those types of environments, and we have been. So it's kind of all over the map at this point, and we're seeing activity kind of across the board. I would say about half the time we're seeing commercial print, and half the time it's our current business that's moving upstream to outfit their print centers, for example.
I mean, commercial print's such a no-brainer, right? Everybody, I think, can understand why those guys would like this type of technology and moving
Yeah.
offset onto digital has a ton of advantages. And but the education piece, that's, these are other opportunities for customers that they already have. It's just sort of a natural extension. And it's really kind of interesting because, I remember 10 years ago when you had nothing. Like you guys weren't in that space, you didn't want to be in that space, and then all of a sudden you dipped your toe a little. And here you are, you've got a full product family. You've got how many new devices are you showing at print?
Two new devices at print. Actually, it's actually four different products.
So that's going to be exciting. And the booth, I imagine, big.
It's going to be as big as last year, and we're planning again making it very inviting. So come check us out while you're there. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, it's just your digital signage, just what an advantage you have over a lot of the companies that are going to be there who don't have that luxury. And I mean, I'm sure you guys are holding just a huge party there and making just the most visual appealing thing there is. I mean, it's just your signage is awesome. I got to imagine it's going to look incredible.
Well, we're definitely going to leverage diversification that we have as a company. Those are things that really differentiate us. Not only that, we'll have our technology in various other booths throughout the show, kind of showcasing what they want to showcase in their booth. So, kind of leveraging those partnerships as well, so that we can kind of harness the opportunity that we have as a company to showcase our brand.
Well, you made a really nice footprint there in a place where you just didn't even exist a while back. It's just the progress has been pretty amazing to watch, I'd have to say.
Well, thank you. We're working hard at it. It's not an easy feat. It's something
No.
that takes a lot of work every single day, and the team, I have to tell you, deserves a lot of the credit. Day in and day out, they're moving right along, pushing the product, pushing the fact that we're in the higher end space, and our dealers, our dealer partners, are doing a great job getting the message out there. So it's been great.
Very exciting, very exciting. And I wanted to, I didn't want to spend the whole time talking about print because fortunately for me and for you, I guess we had some news on our site today. You guys launched something, 3D embellishment printing, right? And we were joking before, I know what 3D is, I know what embellishment is, but I've never heard that put together like that. So I'd love to hear about that and what kind of opportunities that's going to bring to the table for your dealers.
Yeah, so we are partnered with Color Logic. Color Logic has been a partner for us with us from day one on our 1200S, which is our six color press. One of the reasons why we partner with them is because it helps customers leverage the full capabilities of the six color press in order to be able to really harness what the product could do. And one of the latest introductions or announcements that we just made that's on your site now is a 3D visual type of capability that allows you to be able to share with your customer what a 3D embellishment type output would look like before you actually do a sample or even send something. It's all electronic. So, for example, you get a CMYK job, you send an email to your customer and say, hey, it would look a lot better if you did it this way. The customer wins and the provider wins because they're going to be making more profitability on that output. And the customer is very happy because they're getting a better output. So it's a win-win situation.
Well, I can't imagine how labor intensive it must be doing that traditionally, where you've just got to come out with here's the sample, and then they want, what if you do this? So now you've got to go back, reset, and those are expensive, right? I mean, the embellishment, Very expensive. Putting
Yes.
coatings on and what kind of embellishment? Like what are we talking about here for people who aren't
Well,
in?
there's all kinds of different types of embellishments you can show. Some of it's just printing on regular foil and leveraging six colors. The other thing is adding additional capabilities like UV ink as well as stamp foil, leveraging our Duplo relationship. So there's a lot of things you can do and what you can show on the preview. The bottom line is that business is growing, and there is a, let's call it a window of opportunity right now that commercial printers can really differentiate themselves before, let's say, embellishments and 3D type of activity like this become the norm. So there's a huge opportunity right now for people to take advantage, and that's why we're releasing these enhancements so that we can have them shared with their customers and do something different.
Well, the embellishment process is super labor intensive to do it traditionally, right? That's I've sat through a few presentations. I've seen some stuff from you guys. I've sat through it from some of your friends up and down the street, here and there, and it's amazing what they can do. But the way they had to do it in the past was all physical. It was all hands-on, right?
That's right.
And so this takes just doing it digitally takes a lot of steps out from what I'm understanding. And now you're taking that to the next level where you don't even need to do the steps yet. Let's make sure it looks right before we do it.
That's
And
right.
I mean, so you're saving them labor costs big time, right?
That's right.
And then the other part of that is, if you have to print 10, 20 samples of something over and over and over, just slightly differently each time, that cost adds up. So
Yeah. And another thing, Andy, just kind of keep in mind, it's nothing actually that's so out there that is kind of changing the game. It's as simple as, a business card,
yeah.
right? Where in business cards, it was difficult to make even $1 on a thousand business cards these days. But if you add embellishment to it, you're going to make a lot of money. So, it's just the basic stuff that you're doing today. By doing it in an embellishment fashion, you're making more money as a
And
commercial printer.
talk if you could just talk a little to the how embellishment helps these end users add to
Mm,
that bottom line. And that's one of the things I've heard, here and there is that's where the real pop
yeah,
is in this because it's, you've got like my boring, if I had it, I'd show you, but it's just
yeah,
black and white and it's nice and shiny. But my business
yeah.
card is, but you're putting other things in there. Like let's talk about what and then how they can make more money by doing that.
Yeah, it's funny you said that because, on the back of my card, if you can read it, it says, see it, touch it, feel it. This is actually the benefit of embellishment. What embellishments allow you to do is want to reach out and pick up that package, to take a look at it and allow you to kind of take in what is actually on the shelf, right? And at the end of the day, it's about mind share and shelf space. And there's a there's a need for a person to want to touch that print, and it's all about that, right? Getting someone's attention. And if you get that attention, that is going to be worth more. And that's why it's more valuable for the customer. So it's tactile.
Yeah, I agree. The examples that I've seen from commercial printers in panels that I've sat through, they talk about how they will print out their old cards and then print out, a creative embellished card and put them down. And you start going down the path of, this is your brand, and
Mhm.
don't you want to stand out? And it's, you're talking about a box of cards, so yeah, it's more expensive. It might be twice as much more expensive, but how often do you get new boxes of cards? You're not going to do it over and over all the time. They sit in your desk for, months, if not years, before you finally go through the box. And, don't you want to be more memorable and
That's right.
sit at the top of the pile? Especially, when it's your name on it, right? I mean, that's
That's right.
that's the name of the game right there.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah. So I
memorable.
mean, it's not just about business cards. Obviously, it's about light packaging. It's about digital, going from digital online advertising to printed postcards that end up in mailboxes. There's all kinds of opportunities for embellishment to capture attention. So the opportunities are endless when it comes to the creativity, when it comes to actually doing embellishments as well.
And so the embellishing process, all this runs through six, what do you call it? Six ink? Six, not
Six
ink,
color press.
six
So
color
yeah,
press.
so
It,
for
it's
example, we have
digital
an yeah,
laser.
we have an underlay and an overlay. So basically you take a piece of, for example, foil paper that already has silver on it, and now you're adding CMYK and or white. to that page and you're doing knockouts where you're seeing the silver come through. You're adding toner to the silver page to actually change the gradation of the silver. There's all kinds of things you can do. And what ColorLogic allows you to do is it allows you to better understand how to leverage that press so you can do things more creatively. And it gives you the templates in order to do it quickly. So, we make it available with every press that we actually sell on our 6-color presses so that a customer can then leverage everything that that machine can do right off the bat.
And this embellishing isn't new. It's just that it's been terribly expensive in the past. And that's why,
Correct.
that's why it really stands out at this point because not a lot of people are doing it. So if you
That's right.
want your mailers to stand out, if you want your cards to stand out or your letterhead or whatever you're putting it on,
Yep.
I mean, it's eye-catching, right? You start putting metals on paper and you get that shine to it or that gloss and it's just or raised a little bit, it really makes a big difference compared to like my business, maybe I'll pop in and print and run a package and get something new, but it really does. It's eye catching. It's
Yeah. We're trying to avoid the race to the bottom on CYK, right? So we want to really try to add value at the end of the day.
and so that back to that 3D proofing embellishment system that you guys are launching or just launched. Is that going to be in action? Or are you going to be showing that? I imagine you would be. Is that going to be a print?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be showcasing that and the capabilities of it within the ColorLogic section of our booth. So we'll have our partners there as well, showcasing their products along with ours. Once again, showing the total ecosystem of how we can provide a total solution to the customer.
Well, very cool. So stop by the Sharp booth if you're watching this and you're at Printing United. And where else are we going to see you guys over the next few months? I know you're going to have a whole team down at BTA. We talked about that for their big 100th anniversary. That's going to be super exciting. I was at the 90th. I'm sure you may have been as well. And that was one of their best meetings ever. So I can't imagine. Brent's been teasing us with these old photos and just of. I think he posted one today. It was taken 98 years ago today. And it's so cool seeing this community and we evolve, right? I mean, they were typewriters back then. They were Edison phone tubes and I mean just all sorts of different technologies that have come and gone and our industry was copiers and printers for a long time and now you guys are taking them with others like you into commercial print into super high uh, print that's been dominated by offset for years and you're helping customers realize the benefits of the digital. It's exciting to watch that. BTA is going to be really cool. Do you have other stuff coming up over the next few months, or what else
Well,
is Sharp doing?
well, we've got BTA, which is a big deal, and we'll be involved in that pretty heavily. We've done a lot this year already. Can't believe we're getting towards the end of the calendar year already, but we are. We've been involved in various shows. We did the IPMA show back in June. We were in Chattanooga, Tennessee for the Alpha Graphics franchise event. We've been involved in A Cup earlier this year, and now the show for Printing United. So once again, trying to get the name out there, the fact that customers need to see us in a different light. So we're doing a lot of that, and we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to get our name out there in various forums, working really closely with some of the associations as well to make sure that customers know that we're in the business. So a lot going on, and
Yeah.
like I said, we're going to continue to push that messaging.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of new shows that you guys have not traditionally been a part of. So,
That's right.
welcome to that club. I don't go
Yeah.
to most of those. They're a little outside, my area of expertise, but it's really cool watching you guys just take that and run with it. I remember when you came out with that and we were all just like, wow, they're in it, but there's like they just have, it's one machine. And it seemed like I blinked and you guys have a whole product portfolio in an area that Sharp in the past said, we don't know if we want to be there. And then you made the decision and man, you really went in with your foot to the floor and pedal to the metal. It's been fun watching you.
Yeah, we've made pretty big investment in this space, and it's not a fly by night, hey, let's try this type thing. It's a long-term investment. We made investment in the internal support structure, whether it's service or sales, training, whether it's support structure, our QA team, our sales group, our analysts. So there is a entire ecosystem now within Sharp that's focused on production print. So yeah, it's a long-term investment for the company, and it's exciting. It's exciting to be in a spot where the company's growing. This everything that we do here is net new for
Yeah.
the organization. It's not a lot of business right now that you could say is net new within the print business, right? And to be able to say that's a lot of fun.
Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head. This is not an area to dip your toe, and dealers know that too. You're either in or you're out, and when you're in, you need to put up some money. You need to invest. You've got to have space. You've got to have the right people. You've got to have training. You've got to have technicians that understand this technology. Probably product experts that I'm imagining you have a bunch of people that, worked for on the other side of the table at one point or another. That seems to be, a very good way to do it is bring in the expertise from the printers, from the guys who've used this technology out there and can kind of help you translate that back to the people you're trying to sell to.
Yeah, we've been in this for about 2 years now, on the high end, but we've got people that have been in it for 20 plus years, right? So that's the beauty of it. They're not starting from scratch. They're starting from a place where they already know the business really, really well. We're also investing in showrooms. We have our showroom here in Montvale built out fully with all of our production technologies, as well as out on the West Coast in Santa Ana, California. And we're going to be finishing up a new showroom in Downers Grove in Illinois, actually by the end of September. So we'll be doing an open house there, which is really exciting. So, we're making it available for those that need to get there in various places of the country as well. So continue to evolving that as well.
Well, you sound incredibly busy right now.
Yes.
Yes, I can't even imagine with print coming up and with all these launches and the shows that you just mentioned that you've been attending. It's got to be quite a whirlwind for you.
We're having fun. Again, it's all about having fun, Andy. We talked about that earlier. If you're not having fun, then, does it make sense to even do something like that, right? We're having a great time doing it. The team is having a lot of fun, and we're just enjoying our time, so it's been great.
This has been awesome. I appreciate you coming on and sharing today. If you guys are out there going to Printing United, make sure you stop by Sharp's booth. You'll see them at BTA. I'm sure you'll see them at some other stuff that pop up over there. But Dino, always great talking to you. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate your time.
You as well, Andy. We'll talk soon.
Talk soon. Take care.
Bye bye.